Good morning, good evening, everyone. This is Brother Benson, and I'm joined with Miguda. Miguda, habari gani?
Niko salama kakangu, habari yako vipi pali huko?
Mi niko vizuri. Leo ni Friday, na kawaida unapata kwamba Friday kuna wale ambao wanafurahia sana sana, wale ambao wamekuwa wakienda kazi kwa wiki, wanasema leo ni ile siku ambao unapumzika ama unaenda kwa sehemu za starehe kupigia mwili asante.
Unaenda pali za sherehe kupigia mwili pole.
Oh, yeah, unapigia mwili
kupigia mwili pole na ni siku ambayo watu
bado asante ni sawa na pole ama kuna tofauti?
ni sawa tu, ni sawa, lakini ile lugha ambayo watu wengi wanazungumzianga ni ya kwamba wanapigia mwili pole, but ni tu asante kwa sijui wanampigia mwili asante kwa kazi nzuri mwili imewasaidia kufanya the wiki mzima.
Unapigia mwili asante. Unajua najua wewe pia Friday inakuwa ni ile siku ambayo mnaenda kukaribisha tunaita Sabbath sama Sabato.
Watu wako tofauti pia. Sisi hiyo Friday ikifika ni siku yetu ya tunasema tunakaribisha Sabbath. Sabato njema. Sabato njema. Na tunakamilisha kesho wakati kama huu.
Okay. Miguda, kabla tujaendelea nataka kukupatia tuseme kwamba picha mbili tofauti. Unajua last week, I think it's this week if I'm not wrong, there was that shooting that took place, especially the lawyer advocate who was shot dead by a known motorbike or a known assailant. And today the fraternity of lawyers, especially those who are in the legal team, especially the lawyers, and they were protesting, especially to stand with the lawyer who was slain, and also to advocate against those kind of like horrific kind of death that especially faces the lawyers. At the same time, there was also a political activist, I may call him so, in the United States, Charles Kirk, who was also shot dead. But these two scenarios, they happen the same week. But as we speak today, I was just reading from one of the posts, and they were saying like the suspect who committed that act has been traced. But also you can go to the social media, you could see how they give the analysis, like people are showing you the camera on how this guy, from the time he came to the campus to the time he walked to the rooftop, the way they're saying, from now he's now in custody, But compared to ours, those two scenarios, what can you say about the two scenarios?
I can say there are scenarios which have happened the same. Two people died, were shot.
Yeah.
But you find that the other one, the suspect, has already been taken to custody, and there's a tool that can actually find the suspect who committed such crime. But on our side, of course, the lawyer did not kill himself. It is someone who have killed him. Up now, there isn't any trail that can trace the person who committed such crime. I can just say in terms of security, we are still behind. In terms of investigation, we are still behind. So in terms of carrying out our activities criminally, we are still lagging behind. That's why we said we should invest. And that's the other thing we understand when we're discussing with you the issue of accident, whereby the response team should be at every county, whereby in case of any emergency or accident, they respond swiftly. We talk about the issue of shoppers. I think we should not only limit the security into the CBD, we should expand it beyond CBD. And also, I don't believe that there is security, because even the Kasipul Kabondo member of parliament was shot just in the CBD, that next to the CBD, where we got cameras all over. So we still need to invest much into our security. At the same time, we still need to invest in our investigation.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much. And you know, we still need to invest in our security and investigation. So, which means we agree we are kind of like still behind, especially when it comes to disaster response management, and even when such like issues happen. And another thing also I witnessed with the what happened with the lawyer. When his car was being towed, just imagine the person who like the crime scene was not secured, you know, because like you find like in major areas you will find that they will have to investigate and piece the evidence, and it would take around even like around at most 10 hours. Just the crime scene is secured and they draw every option that could have happened, you know, and even they can look around at the buildings around that area, if any, and look at did any of them of the building have CCTV so that they can trace that, because that is part of the main reason for securing the location. But you find that hours immediately the law enforcement came, it did not take even like 6 hours. The vehicle was already towed, and at the time of towing the vehicle somebody was driving it, you know, as it was going out, at least was being put on that towing track, you know. So it tells you on how we secure the scene of crime, and how we investigate, like you know. And that one points of what you say, that we still lack so many um equipment, I have to say, or we still lack more human resources, especially when it comes to investigation. But I know for a fact, like they're doing the best, but I think like more is still required. We're not saying that our law enforcement are not doing a good job. They're doing a good job, but I think they need more resources and more resource allocation, especially when it comes to cases to deal with crime.
Yeah, I agree with you, because the crime scene ought to have been cordoned, and also there could be, because I saw even vehicles were just moving on the following day. It ought to have been cordoned, then also trying to investigate from the nearest building. And also, by the time he was being shot, I heard that there was traffic. So then to get the vehicle which was behind, the one which was in front of the vehicle, and try to also to ask them if they saw that person, what age of the person he was, even the motorbike. Somebody could have even read the number plate for the motorbike, or maybe he was dressing in this color. So I think from those all things they could have gotten the person. Because me, I believe that once the investigation has been initiated, it's not very easy for you to escape. If the state want to get you, you have put us in a crime. Actually, they will get you. So I mean, if they are saying up to now they haven't arrested anybody, they are failed in terms of investigation and also security. But all in all, they are doing good. The way you have said, they are trying, but they should put more resources into those areas other than other areas.
Okay, thank you so much, Miguda. Before we go into the main discussion, you know, I have very few news that I picked that we will be talking about as we move forward. Today, also, I was listening to another podcast of Kiswahili, and I learned something new. Maybe I don't know how you will interpret it. This is what they said. I quote: "Ukimya unavunja uadui." Mtu akitoka sehemu zitaje kwa wema, and this is like ukimya, tuseme kwamba the silence um, inavunja uadui, that is one. Then ingine ikasema mtu ukitoka sehemu zitaje kwa wema, and let me say that mtu akitoka sehemu, amla tuseme kama pale ambapo sisi tunaishi, kwa sababu najua katika maisha hii ambayo tunaishi safari inakuwaga ni ndefu sana, na unapata kwamba saa zingine unapata kwamba unapata bahati kuishi na watu tuseme kwamba watu ambao si relative, ni marafiki tu ama wasamaria wema. Lakini sasa anasema kwamba labda tukitoka katika hizi sehemu ambazo sisi tunaishi, inafaa tukiwa tunazitaja, tusizitaje tu kwa mabaya, lakini tuzitaje kwa wema. We hapo unasema aje?
Kwanza ningependa kuzungumzia maneno ya ukimya uvunja uadui. Kana kwamba wakati unapokuwa na tatizo lolote na mwenzako, lakini uenda kupata anaweza sema mengi kuhusu kwa wenzako wengine ama kwa watu, lakini wewe uenda kukaa kimya ukatulia, haujamjibu, haujamwongelea vibaya. Pengine uenda akaangalia akasema kwamba ukweli nimeongea mbaya juu ya huyu mwenzangu, acha tu niachane nazo mpaka kuja tulie tu. Sasa wakati una kimya, unajua ukiongea mingi unazidisha ile uadui. Sasa wakati una kimya, hauna maneno mengi, anaona tu ya kwamba anafanya kazi bure, mwishowe anakuja, mnaendelea tena na safari yenu kama kawaida. Because tunasema wakati uko na hasira sana, usiwahi fanya uamuzi. Unafaa utulie kwanza, hasira itulie, upate tulivu, ndio ufanye uamuzi. Pengine unaweza kuwa na hasira utusi mtu, lakini baada ya kufanya uchunguzi upate ya kwamba hakuwa na haja yoyote wewe kumtusi huyo jamaa ama kufanya kibaya. Unaweza ua mtu, lakini ukiangalia vizuri, hata hii kitu alinifanyia hakuna ati ningefaa kumua, ningefaa tu tumongee vizuri, tumalize kama wanaume. So nafikiria hiyo ndio interpretation.
Okay, asante sana. Na pia naona ndugu yetu kutoka kule Kisumu anaitwa Honorable John Ogada. Thank you so much for tuning in and thank you so much for supporting us through Facebook. Na Miguda, hii ingine unaweza sema aje? Mtu akitoka sehemu zitaje kwa wema. Okay, kama bado tunasubiri Miguda, hii ya mtu akitoka sehemu unazitaja kwa wema, mimi naweza itafsiri hivi. Unajua, katika maisha hii, hapo awali nilisema kwamba unapata kwamba maisha ni refu. Maisha ni safari mrefu sana na iko na changamoto zake katika hiyo safari. Huwezi sema kwamba kuna wale ambao wamepata, kuna wale labda ambao hawajapata changamoto katika maisha, lakini kuna baadhi, asilimia kubwa, ambao wamepata changamoto, lakini unapata kwamba safari yao imekuwa safari ambayo imeambatana na labda mtu kumrejeshea mkono ama mtu kutoa usaidizi. Na unapata saa zingine ukitoa usaidizi ama ukiwa mahali ambapo unapatiwa usaidizi, unapata kwamba saa zingine vitu haziwezi enda kuwa matarajio yako, ama vitu ambazo labda ulikuwa unatarajia. Unaona, sana sana unapata kwamba unaishi na baba wa kambo, ama sana sana saa zingine unapata unaishi na nduguye babako, ama unaishi na dadake mama yako. Unapata kwamba mazingira ikae vizuri kabisa, ama sehemu ambazo sisi tunafanyia kazi, unapata kwamba saa zingine unapata kwamba hautendewi haki pale ambao unafanya kazi. So ukitoka, huyu anatuambia kwamba ziseme hizo sehemu kwa wema, usitaje mabaya. Sababu ni hii, kwa sababu ukiwa unazitaja kwa mabaya, inaweza fanya pahali ambao unaenda kutafuta kazi mtu asikakupatie kazi, kwa sababu atajua kweli huyu jamaa zile vitu alikuwa amesema pale zinaweza kuwa ni vitu za kusema tu ili kuharibia mtu sifa. Unaona, na pia inaweza fanya yule mtu labda anataka kukupatia kazi aende akaitana pale ulikuwa unafanya kazi awali na aulize, na apate kwamba labda si jambo la ukweli. Lakini ukisema kwa wema, inakupatia nafasi nzuri sana sana kupata kazi kwa urahisi, kwa sababu utakuwa umetengeneza wewe mwenyewe, utakuwa umejitengenezea heshima, na wale watu ambao labda walikuwa wamekutendea adui ama walikuwa kukutendea vizuri, pia utakuwa umeheshimisha hao wenyewe. So hivyo ndio mimi naweza toa kauli yangu. Bado nasubiri ndugu yangu Miguda akuje ili tukue na mazungumzo. Asanteni sana. Thank you so much for tuning in. And as I said earlier, John Ogada, thank you so much. And everybody who is watching us on YouTube and also on Facebook, we say thank you. If you're new here in Brother Benson Media, you can also be part of the conversation by commenting so that we can know what is your view on what you're talking about, because the majority of the times we usually talk about leadership and accountability and what kind of a country are we looking for, or what kind of voters are we, and we always give our opinion in political especially because we know we have the government and we have the opposition. So we usually give our views on both sides. We are very partial. That is what I would say. Miguda, nini mbaya leo kakangu? Okay, bado nasubiri Miguda kinakaa. Sema Miguda.
Unanisikia kama nimekuja? Nilipotea kidogo na nikama nipata network.
Okay. Hebu kabla tujaendelea, hebu sema mtu akitoka sehemu zitaje kwa wema. Hapo uko na maoni gani?
Umesema ati mtu akitoka sehemu
zitaje kwa wema. Haya,
mtu akitoka sehemu zitaje kwa wema, hapo ni kama sijapata vizuri.
Okay. Labda nikufafanulie tu kidogo tu. Naona pia ndugu yangu ambaye amepotea sana aitwa Jamaranda is watching. Jamaranda, umepotea wapi baba? Ni siku mingi kabla tuja kuona. Hebu tuambie maisha iko vipi pale ulipo, na leo ni Friday, mpango ni gani? Mimi nasema ukitoka sehemu inafaa utaje hizo sehemu ambazo umetoka kwa wema. Ni kwamba uzitaje kwa njia nzuri. Labda tuseme, nilikuwa natoa tu mfano tu, labda umekuwa ukifanya kazi mahali ama ulikuwa unafanya kazi pahali, lakini harakati zako ama wakati ambapo ulikuwa unafanya kazi hapo ulikuwa unapata kwamba au kukuwa unatendewa wema, lakini sasa umetoroka ama umetoka ukaenda sehemu, ama kabla hujapata sehemu unaweza pata kwamba utakuwa unasemea mabaya labda zile vitu ambazo ulipitia kwa njia, labda tuseme kwa ufupi, unawachafulia jina na hali ya kuwachafulia jina unasema vibaya, lakini wewe alikuwa anasema kwamba labda ukitoka sehemu ukuwe unasema kwa wema, unasema uzuri wao, lakini mabaya nayo unaficha. We hapo unakubaliana nao kweli?
Ningekubaliana nao juu unapata wakati masaa zote tunapata watu wanapoishi sehemu ama wanaposaidiwa huenda wanapotoka hapo, hakuna mtu ambaye tokanga sehemu ambayo anasema ati alitunzwa vizuri, lakini kuna wale wanasema alitunzwa vizuri. Sasa unapata wakati tunaongelea watu ama vitu vibaya na unauza yale mazuri, ni kana kwamba wewe kibinafsi unasahau ya kwamba wakati ulikuwa hapo hata wewe walikusaidia. Hiyo nafasi ulipatia hapo unasahau. Kwa mfano, kama naishi na mtu hapa leo, namaanisha kwamba anapokula, anapoogelea, anapolala, anasahau ya kwamba hiyo wakati wote ni mimi nilikuwa namshughulikia. Sasa anasema tu zile mabaya kunihusu, mabaya kuhusu kwetu. Mimi si jambo nzuri. Mimi napenda, kama nakubaliana na huyo msemaji, ya kwamba unapotoka pahali si lazima useme tu umlenge tu na mambo mabaya ama mambo chafu chafu. Pia kumbuka wewe pia ulisaidiwa wakati huo. Ulikuwa unapata shelter kwa hao watu.
Okay, asante sana. Asante sana Miguda kwa hayo. Ni ukweli, tuwaseme kwa mazuri, kwa sababu safari ya maisha huwa ni ndefu sana, na saa zingine unapata kuna baadhi ya wengi ambao wamefaidika ama wamepata maisha mazuri kupitiana kwa wale ambao walipitia katika njia zao ama wale ambao waliwasaidia. So tuwaseme kwa wema hata kama walikuwa wametutendea vibaya, kwa sababu pia inajenga safari yako, ambapo labda siku moja ukienda kutafuta kazi mahali, mtu atakuangalia kwa jicho la tatu kwamba we mtu mzuri. Okay, asante sana ndugu yangu Miguda. There's also something here that I want you to be brief on it. You remember the former senator for Nairobi, that is Honorable Millicent Omanga. She has gifted the son of 20-year-old a Mercedes Benz as a birthday gift. Unaona hiyo?
Hiyo nimeona. Unajua sasa inalingana, kila mtu kuna maisha yake. Sasa hiyo usiwezi ingilia sana maisha ya mtu yeye yake.
Unajua mimi siingilii, lakini unajua kwa nini nasema hivi? Mimi nimepitia kwa comment section,
Yeah.
Na nikapata one comment yenye mtu alikuwa ameandika akasema Nepal is coming soon.
Hapo naye umeongea vizuri. Hapo nakubaliana nawe. Hiyo comment yako iko sawa kama umeleta hiyo kitu.
Kwa sababu
hapo sasa naelewa kenye unasema.
Mimi sikatai kwa sababu kila mtu ako nayo, lakini kumbuka kwamba huyu alikuwa ni mwanasiasa. Yeah? Na ukiingelea kwa comment, mimi sasa comment nilifanya mimi nikataja kwa sababu mimi pia nilikuwa nasema mzuri, kama ako na uwezo ni sawa, siwezi mkataza kwa sababu mwanawe huyo. Unaona, na kila mtu ana kama ni mwanao una ruhusa uko nayo kufanya chochote. Lakini ukikuja kwa comment section unapata kwamba mambo ambayo watu wanasema ni tofauti sana. Ndio maana nikafikiria nikasema wacha niulize huyu ndugu yangu. Nikasema mtu akasema Nepal is coming very soon. Ikafanya mimi nikawaza.
Hapo hata mimi umefanya nikawaza. Unapata ni ukweli yeye ni mwanasiasa na pia yeye ni afisa katika ofisi za umma.
Yeah.
Na unapata wakati huu kuna vile hata ndiposa wale vijana wajenzi waende katika maandamano. Mambo kama hayo kwamba kuna wale waziri ambao walikuwa wanatembea na machopa kila mahali, walikuwa wanavaa masaa, walikuwa wanavaa maviatu, masuti. Ulisikia hata kina Murkomen walikuwa moja yao waziri walikuwa wanasema ati they were opulence. Sasa unapata wakati huu pia mtu kama huyu akinulia mtu wake wa huyo umri hiyo Mercedes Benz, na kuna wale wenzake kama jenzi ambao wana hiyo uwezo, wale wa maskini. Hapo ndio chuki inaingia kwamba nyinyi ili pesa yetu unajua kuna vile wananchi wanatazama hizo vitu. Ndiposa kama tulishapata hapo awali tulikuwa na maandamano na pia moja za hizo vitu ni kama hayo. Lakini unafaa kama kiongozi ukuwe ni mtu ambaye unasoma kitu kifanyika lazima ufanye bidii usirudie tena. Sasa ukipata wakati kama huu huyo mama anapofanya hivyo, kuna wale watu ambao wanalinganisha na kile kilifanyika huko Nepal. Unapata hao maafisa wa serikali wengi wao vitu zao ziliporwa, manyumba zao, magari. Sasa vitu kama hizi zikifanyika, ndipo sasa unapata hata mwanasiasa akipoteza mtu wake au mtoto, watu wanapiga tu sherehe ya kwamba hata wamuombolezi mwanasiasa. Juu ni kama nasema tu ni vile pia hawezi amulia mtu social media yake vile anafaa kuirun, lakini ni vizuri pia we kama ni afisa wa umma ukae tu mtumishi wa umma, usikae tu mtu ambaye vitu zako za kibinafsi ziko kila mahali, pali ulikula, vitu ulikula, na vile vile una safari zako za ng'ambo. Unajua kuna watu wanaenda ng'ambo karibu kila wiki, lakini hata huwezi jua juu. Lakini ni wanasiasa hata unapata kuna wakati huu rais huyu waziri wa fedha na wakawi walikuwa wametembea na chopa mara mbili. Watu walisema kumbe nyinyi mmeanza kufanya, lakini mpaka leo hiyo wanaona tena chopa, wanatumia tu magari zao. Sasa kuna usafi mwingi unafaa kuwa tu, si lazima uonyeshe kila mtu tumefanya, lakini kama we ni mfanyikazi wa umma unafaa tu uwe mtu ambaye vitu zako za kibinafsi zikae zako na vitu za umma zikae za umma. Sasa hakuna haja uonyeshe watu vile unaishi. Na sasa hizo zinafanya unajua watu si lazima kila mtu afikirie vile tunafikiria kwamba ni maisha yake, pesa ni yake. Hapana. Kuna watu wataamini ya kwamba kwa nini kitambo hakuwa amenunulia mtoto wake gari kama hiyo? Mtu amekuwa tu hivi juzi afisa wa umma ananunua hiyo gari. Sasa hizi pesa ni pesa zetu. Watu wanasema hivi.
Ni ukweli. So ndio maana nilikuwa nasema si dhambi. Mimi nakubaliana na yeye, si dhambi kwamba wewe kama mzazi inafaa upatiane mtoto wako chochote ambacho labda iko kadri au ndani ya uwezo wako, lakini pia lazima kuwe na ile picha ambayo wewe uko nayo kama mtu ambaye ni mtumishi wa umma. Kama wewe ni mtumishi wa umma na unaonesha haya, hata kama utakuwa umefanya kwa njia nzuri, hata kama utakuwa umefanya na mambo yani ile tu yako tu mwenyewe tu kama mtu ambaye amefanya kazi kama mtu yote, lakini kumbuka kwamba wewe ni mfanyakazi wa umma na pia unajua wakati ambapo sisi tupo katika karne hii na yale ambayo labda pia kilikuwa imetokea. Nadhani ingekuwa ni somo nzuri kwake yeye kuifanya kwa njia ambayo ingekuwa ina busara mingi sana. Angeita, hata angeleta kwa mtandao wa jamii, angefanya tu au kivyao na ajue, kwa sababu watu kiweka ama hujaweka bado umemkabidhi, si ndio? Yeah? Lakini ilifanya kwa angekuwa na ile picha ya mtumishi wa umma na yale ambayo yanatokea, kwa sababu mimi comment section ndo ilifanya nikakuuliza hayo. So inafaa sisi pia hata maviongozi ambao wako katika ambao wamepatiwa kazi, kuna vitu ambazo labda saizi labda ukifanya inafaa uziangalie katika jicho la tatu, uangalie kwamba jamii watakuwa wanakuangalia aje. Hata unaona kwamba apart from that, mtu pia anasema tunaiba pesa zetu. Hizo vitu zilikuwa among pesa zetu ndo nanunua, zilikuwa kwa comments. Enda kwa comment utaona baba, utaona mingi ambao Wakenya wanasema pale kwa comment section, lakini hiyo tu ni yale tu tulikuwa tunasema tu. Jambo ingine hapa pia nataka wewe pia unizungumzie, labda utoe wazo lako. Leo chama cha ODM walikuwa wanapatiana cheti za kugombea sehemu mbalimbali ambapo uchaguzi mdogo zinakuja, lakini jambo ambalo labda watu walikuwa wanauliza na wewe pia nataka labda unaweza toa wazo lako kwamba katibu mkuu wa chama hakukuwepo wakati mambo kama haya cheti zilikuwa zinatolewa. Alikuwa pale Githunguri, alikuwa na mheshimiwa Gathoni wa Mshomba, Babu Owino na I think Caleb Amisi, na mambo kama haya yalikuwa yanatokea hapo. Pia naona kwamba watu pia wameuliza swali kwamba ni kama huyu mtu ashatoka ama ni kama njia zake za ODM ni kama zinakamatika, zinafika kikomo.
Hiyo ndio utamu ya siasa. Siasa inakuwa utamu kama kuna vitu kama hizo. Siasa hizi kuwa tu kitu ambaye kila mtu ako na uwezo ya kuisoma na kila mtu ako na uwezo ya kusema yatafanyika. Wakati kama hatuna chochote cha kusema ama tunaachwa tukipigwa butua, hiyo ndio siasa tamu. Si lazima kila mtu ashirikiane na ODM ama kila mtu afanye kazi na Rais William Ruto ndio siasa ikuwe siasa. Hapana. Ile siasa tamu ni siasa ambayo kuna wapinzani, kuna toka katika serikalini na kuna watu. Lazima tukae watu ambao unakubaliana na mimi na pia unanipinga, unanikosoa. Kama sisi wote tunaweza kubaliana, hiyo sasa si siasa, hiyo si nchi. Sasa niliona kama wale wakati wanaojiita election board wa ODM walikuwa katika pale chumba au sokapeana hizo cheti umezungumzia kwa wale wagombea katika viti mbalimbali. Na vile vile nikapata kama yule katibu mkuu alikuwa sehemu zake na siasa zake za kawaida. Napata katibu mkuu amekuwa na siasa zake za kawaida. Siasa zake na kina Babu, siasa zake na kina Wamchonga bayo wanazungumzia mambo ya Kenya moja. Sasa walisema ya kwamba hata kama kuna shughuli ya kupatia watu vyeo katika vicheti katika huko Chungwa House, wao pia hiyo haiwezi simamisha safari yao ya Kenya moja. Sasa ni kama wanasema kwamba hata kama tu katika chama, lakini pia sisi lazima tusikizwe. Pia sisi tuna mawazo tofauti, lakini hizo vitu za chama zifanywe na wengine, pia sisi tuko na mwelekeo yetu na sasa nasema siasa ni tamu na ndio imeanza tu, lakini naamini ya kwamba hapo mbele tutakuwepo tutakuwepo na watu niseme mafarasi wawili ama watatu kiwezekana, ili tuone kwamba ni nani wataebuka washindi. Lakini kwa sasa nasema hakuna mtu yote amezuia kufanya siasa zake, hata kama katika chama cha ODM, katika chama cha DCP, katika chama cha Kenya moja, uko na uhuru. Ile nasemanga kwa lugha ya Kimombo, uko na uhuru ya kufanya urafiki, ya kufanya uhusiano na mtu yeyote. Kama ni mimi nimechaguliwa na tiketi ya ODM, Wamchomba amechaguliwa ya UDA, lakini kati tuko bunge, mimi na Wamchomba katika kamiti moja, niko na ile uhuru ya kwenda kumtembelea katika eneo bunge lake. Si ati yeye sina hiyo uhuru. Hata kama uko na uhuru ya kuwa marafiki, uko na uhuru ya kuwa marafiki wale sio wa ODM, uko na uhuru ya kufanya uhusiano na marafiki zako, kwa sababu hii ni siasa. Wakati mnahusika, kuna zile mawazo. Nikienda pale Githunguri na para nijenga barabara, nikuje katika eneo yangu pia nijenga barabara. Vile vile pia hao watu colleagues ni wale ambao katika bunge la kitaifa. Sasa wewe sema ya kwamba sisi tukue pale maadui, na hii ni bunge la kitaifa, bunge la Githunguri, bunge la Makadara, bunge la kitaifa. Sasa wakati unafika pale, nyinyi wote ni wa Kenya na mnafaa kufanya uhusiano. Sasa nasema tu mimi naipenda vile naenda. Hiyo ndio sasa utamu ya siasa. Kama kuna wapinzani, kuna wale wanakutupotea, kuna wale ambaye hatuna nao katika msimamo mmoja.
Okay, unajua katika dunia hii ama katika safari ya maisha, bado tunakurejesha pale. Kuna vitu vingi ambazo huwa zinafanya. Kwanza kuna unaweza sema kwamba kuna historia ambayo ilikuwa imevunjwa. Na historia inaweza vunjwa kwa kauli mbili tu. Unaweza vunja sheria, historia kwamba wewe ni mtu ambaye amefeli kabisa katika maisha, tuseme katika hapo pali, katika labda tuseme kwamba jambo ambalo ulikuwa unafanya. Mi inaniregesha nyuma wakati ambapo nilikuwa katika shule la upili. Tulikuwa na rafiki yetu mwingine, tulikuwa naye katika darasani. Kwa kweli, unajua Mungu, watu, kila mtu amepatiwa kipaji chake tofauti sana. Kuna wale Mungu aliwapatia hekima na mtu aliwapatia ile tuseme kwamba akili kabisa, unaona, na kuna wale ambao Mungu aliwanyima akili, lakini kuna baadhi ya vitu ambazo wanafanya vizuri. So wakati ambapo tulikuwa tumetoka shule, tumemaliza kidato cha 4, bwana huyu hakufanya vizuri, lakini harakati zetu sasa kutoka nje, wengi wetu Mungu akatujalia tukaenda katika wengine chuo kikuu, wengine kwa hizi colleges. Lakini wakati ambapo tukakuja siku moja ile tu harakati, labda unatembea tu na wewe pia unatafuta kazi, nikapata huyu bwana anafanya Kisii, alikuwa anafanya Equity Bank. Ndio nikamwambia maisha bwana. Maisha. So kuna mahali ambapo unaweza feli ama mahali ambapo hawezi fanya vizuri, lakini kuna pia baada ya hapo kuna pahali unapata kwamba dunia ama mazingira imekuwekea sehemu yako maalum ambapo wewe mwenyewe unaweza fanya mabadiliko. Sasa haijalishi historia yako iko vipi ama haijalishi kwamba ulifeli vipi, lakini ukipata kwamba pale ambapo dunia ama mazingira imekuwekea sehemu yako ambao upo inakusubiri, hiyo ni mzuri. Wacha nichukue nafasi hii pia kushukuru ndugu yangu hapa, anaitwa Alfred Ambonya, is watching with you. Asante sana, najua yeye pia ni mtu wa Kisumu. Leo watu wa Kisumu wanatufanyia vizuri sana, wameamua kukaa na sisi katika kipindi pale Facebook, tunawashukuru sana. Hiyo hapo tu Miguda. Tena kuna jambo lingine hapa pia nataka pia wewe uzungumzie kabla tujaongea mambo ya Kisii sana, kwa sababu Kisii naona iko na mambo mengi ambayo inafaa tujadili. Murang'a MCAs rejected Ruto invitation amidst claim of Kenya shillings 300,000 if you honor the invitation. Sasa unaona, this is now what we want to maybe to elaborate more, and this one brings me to the president. If it is true, this is what is there. It is reported. It is not yet. I don't know whether it is confirmed. That is something that I got from the social media today. If it is true that if you were to attend this meeting, you're given 300 Kenya shillings for what? And this one come in the backdrop when President was saying about the bribery, on how the executive is being put to pressure, especially to give some money, especially when the CSS are going to the parliament. He actually he accused both the houses. But now, from what we are getting from these MCAs from Murang'a, of 300 being paid if you honor that invitation, what does that one speak? What does that one speak? And why should you be given that 3,000 if 300,000 if you're just attending the meeting with the president? Why should you be given that? That is what we have to look at.
Okay, let me clarify before Makobura. I've seen he's around, so
Yes.
he'll engage him. First, I want to say one thing. I heard that they were given 10Ks, and also the people went there, Kiambu youths were given 10Ks, and the people went there, like the Jains who were eating rice and chicken, were given 2Ks. And I was just asking myself, like, not that I don't love money, but I'm saying, I cannot go there for 10,000. Even if not that I'm supporting corruption. If that is the case, why should we go there for 10,000? And this 10,000, you will wait until 2027, then you vote somebody. So I don't think that even if you must be bought, 10,000 is not your worth. So I think that is not something that is good. So I want to say this. We saw some also not going. Some people were with the Ruto, the senator.
Yeah.
So they were saying they have decided not to attend those meetings because they believe that the people not want those things, and also they believe that they're not part of the corruption. What I want to say is that because Ruto has been saying that this corruption, he admitted in parliament.
Yeah.
And the parliament have been saying this corruption is coming from the executive. And also, they're still continuing calling people state house, then give them money. Then you can ask yourself, you can just have your meeting without paying people. Why must you pay people? What is this money doing to the people? That's the question I ask. Where is it coming from? Is it allocated in the budget? And Brother Benzo, this is not good because even in the country, look at even the first world countries, they say that we should not compare ourselves. And the president was saying we must go South Korea, we must go Singapore, we must go Taiwan. But I'm saying those countries, there's no such things whereby people are being called to the state house or the presidential residence or king's residence. Then they are being given money. I don't see it's happening. So
Okay.
if we must go to Singapore, the way it's saying,
Mm.
it should not actually do contrary in its activities. So I believe that let us just be realistic that if you are talking about corruption, look at your look at your look at your front or your back or your sideways. Then once and up.
Okay, thank you so much. Makobura, I hope you're doing fine and your day was good. Mikude, you've talked about Singapore. And, this is not the first time, especially that we are getting the word Singapore from even the president. The Right Honorable Prime Minister has talked about the Singapore, Korea, and we've compared ourselves where we were some years back with those countries and how they've made remarkable ways, and now they've become like a benchmarking for most of the developing world, whereby they keep on mentioning. But this is where sometimes I fail to understand. Forget about even the president. The if it is indeed true that you have to get something, especially when you attend those meetings, So my question is, as you, the person who is receiving this money as an MCA, you know very well that what you when you are invited to go to the state house or you are going to meet the president, you are going there for development, or maybe you're going to discuss about the development of your area or to your representative. Then, even if you're given money, why should you take that money? Why should you take it? But when you take it, what is it for? Is it appreciation that you've come, or it is appreciation that you are going to do what you're being asked for? Going to state house is not bad. But now, when it reaches a point whereby the MCAs saying that they were promised over 300 Kenya shillings, and to those who these are saying this, they also should prove to us, because we know it's a political season, yeah. But when you come and say that the president said that he's going to give us 300, was there any written communication that was saying that if you honor this invitation, that the president is going to give you 300,000? Because this is something that now we should not put politics into it. That is something that we should look into and say that even those who are saying it, how true is it? But if it is true, then there's some questions that now also we need to ask the president. Makobura, what do you think about what the Muranga MCAs were saying here, that that each and every person who could have honored the invitation of going to State House to meet the president was supposed to be given Kenya shillings around 300,000?
Okay. Thank you so much. Allow me to say hi to you first and to Begoda and to our viewers. I can see John Ogada at the comment section. I can see Brenda Obedi. Am I clear?
Very much clear.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so on the issue of people going to State House and then being given something, I think that's a way of bribing people. And I think we've gotten to a point where there is this mentality among not just the normal citizens, but even amongst the political leaders. If someone is an MCA, there's this thinking that if they're meeting a member of parliament or they're meeting a governor, they should be given something. And the vice versa. If a member of parliament or a governor is meeting the deputy president or cabinet secretary, they there's this belief that they should be given something.
Then
their cabinet secretaries or members of parliament or governors are also meeting the president. There's also a mentality that they should be given something. I've never understood where this entitlement came. I've never understood why.
You have, okay. Is Miguda?
Yeah. So I've never understood why there's that kind of behavior, because it is translated even to the normal citizen side, and that is something that is not anything good to go by, because it taints, I can say that it taints the name of the entire country's reputation.
Yeah.
Because what is out there is that a Kenyan or whoever, whether it's a normal citizen, whether it's a politician, they can never go without being given something. So personally, I've never understood, but it's something that is not good to me. You see, we've seen, this is not the first time, we've seen members of parliament, we've seen MCAs going to State House, and then they come out, some of them crying that they were given. I think I've never understood again why if someone goes somewhere, they have to be given, like, what do I say? They have to be given a token.
But now, Miguda, sorry, Makobura, I understand you. But now, do you think like we've reached a point whereby we cannot get our mind out of there? And by the reason why I'm saying that, even if today, for instance, that the president is meeting any kind of leadership, be it from any part of the country, even if it doesn't give money, that we've always built that they've been given, and somebody can just come out and say that, okay, they were given such amount of money, even if it is not given. Do you think we've reached that point?
I think that is where we are, because what is happening here is we've seen not once but several times. Let's start with the normal wananchi. Whenever MCAs goes, I mean, whenever citizens meet leaders, starting from the MCAs, they've always requested, there has always been this thinking that people have to be given something.
Yeah.
And so one thing that I'm not understanding is, okay, sorry, I'm getting a little bit confused here kidogo numbers zingine, but I'm saying that this culture of tokenism, it is being given, it is starting from the normal wananchi, and again I think it has been translated to the leaders.
Yeah.
It is not a good thing per se, but it is like a culture today in the Republic of Kenya.
Yeah.
The only thing that I've never really understood is why it is continuing. Why instead of reducing, it is continuing. And this is not a good thing, because it is spoiling the name of, I mean, it is spoiling the culture of Kenyans. And that is why, we've gotten even to a point where today, if people are coming, let's say visitors who are coming as tourists, some of them come knowing very well that in Kenya, the issue to do with tokenism is something, it's becoming like a right. And not just that. If you remember the thinking that was there out here in Africa when people heard of Nigeria, and the reason why Nigeria was one of the giant countries, and along the way, they started having serious problems. It is the same thing of tokenism. It is the same thing of people being given something which do not really make, people expecting tokenism to even at points when they really do not want. And that is when, for example, you'll go to a shop, something is being sold at 100 shillings, and instead of you getting it at 100 shillings, they will start setting their own prices. So to me, this is not a good culture, and it is a culture that should not even be which it's something that should not be compromised even at the higher stage of the state house. A state house is one of those places where such kind of things should not be happening.
Let me take this opportunity to thank I have Laban Misiani. Thank you so much for joining. Yesterday you promised to come back. You did not. I hope all went well. And I'm seeing Douglas Kibogong. Thank you so much for joining. And I know you told us earlier how your shift has changed. So sometimes you are not able to make it, but we really, really appreciate for sparing your time so that you can have a conversation with us here. Brother Ben, invite Kaluma to the studio. Hey, Kaluma atakuja kweli. We'll have to look for him personally. Then we can we can engage him, because and this is now sometimes that now I think we need to start. I think like we should continue. Let's say that continue with the conversation. And that's why sometimes I have a point of departure, Mr. Migude, especially when we say that our politicians are bad. Our politicians are not bad. It's just like, and I would not call it tokenism. I would call it bribery, or if not bribery, but like, I don't know. There's a word that I was looking for. Because you find that when the members of parliament are going back to the village to meet their constituents, one thing that runs into their minds, or any leader who is going to meet their constituents, one thing that runs on their mind, that what am I going to leave on the ground? And the reason is, one, that is what I call exploitation, because you exploit them. How do you exploit them? You exploit them by giving them something, small money, to make sure that they keep on remembering you, or you make sure that you remain relevant. Anytime they think of something, they have to think about you. That is two. Secondly, I would call it favoritism. Not favoritism, but I would call it suppression. You suppress their ideas, because it is obvious that if somebody keeps on giving you money, or somebody keep on giving you anything like that, because you've not worked for it, there's something that is expecting in return. So which means you'll have to give it in return. And you will be obliged after some time to give it in return. So it is a culture that we are breeding, not only to the grassroots level, even to the leadership. Yeah. And if at all, that if it is true that it was given, or this is what they were promised, then that's where we are, Miguda. What do you say about that?
Okay, I just want to say, I don't know, that's how the politics works, but you understand, people have been put into that culture whereby if I give something, and remember those who have been given money, actually you find that most of them will honor. They will give it back to them. And that's how people will.
Okay, Miguda. Okay, Laban, I agree with you here. I agree with you here, and this is okay. When you appreciate your friend, in return he gives you something small, it should not be taken as a tokenism. True. And when you are giving an appreciation to your friend, yeah, it should not be that for you to get that appreciation, you have to come to me, or you have to do for me something. That is what in law, maybe you can explain to us what we call the quid pro quo. when I have to appreciate my friend for something that you've done for me, it doesn't have a price tag. It can be a thank you. It can be buying you a tea somewhere. That is not tokenism. But I want you to relate it to what is happening in our country. We're not only measuring on what is happening on State House, but even other politicians. It is not very specific on a particular individual, but like in our country, all politicians, all the people in the leadership, whenever they do such like, they know that there's something that they're expecting in return. Look at what is happening, especially when you go to the villages, how people assist with the community building houses. But after building the houses, when you look at the statements, they will say that this is the leadership that we want. And you will be voted for, or people will like you because you're doing that, but they don't look at your policies or what you're implementing. They will look at how can we empower, or what can we do in such a way so that if this is our community, we can have a situation whereby we find a way of creating independency. We call empowerment. Yeah. And immediately, maybe if creating that independence, and maybe if you're doing it for your own good without expectation. Yeah. Let's say, for instance, I go to the village and I find this mama who cannot provide for herself, or maybe she's lacking a good shelter. Then out of good gesture, I say, okay, then I will make sure that I give you something standard like a shelter, but without expecting something in return, maybe a word of thank you. Not even thinking of going for an elective post, but you said that, okay, I just did it because like I was compelled to do so, or I feel it was a kindness. It's kindness, out of kindness. I mean, not compelled, but out of kindness. That's why I'm doing it without expecting something. Then that is okay. But Laban, if you're doing it to get you are for something in return, then that's where the question is. Miguda? Hello, Miguda. Okay, maybe Laban, maybe you can let us also know what you think, because like I think it's something that is worth discussing. That it's just looking at it, because I know it's political. But if it happens like this, we all know that this is political. But in real life situation, that is what I was referring. Okay, let me see what Douglas is saying. Hey, Bro Ben, ask Miguda if he has ever voted. Miguda, have you ever voted?
Hello, Douglas. I've voted, Douglas. I've voted. I've voted.
Yeah, so
I voted in the previous election. I'm a registered voter, actually. I have the voter's card and the.
So maybe Douglas can ask now. After that, Douglas, what else? So give him the question now. All right, thank you so much. And if you look at even the Muranga the Muranga invitation, I don't know whether the governor was involved or the governor was invited. But if the governor was invited, so it's also politics in it. But the culture of, especially like every time when we want to do something, when we want to reach a conclusion, or when we have a crisis with us, the only place that we run to as a solution is, first of all, we have to make sure that there is a money somewhere. I think it's not a very good culture. Miguda, what do you think so? What do you think? Okay, I think there's a problem with the network on Miguda's side. Okay, so those are just some pieces of what we were supposed to discuss here. And also maybe we've talked about ODM issuing direct tickets to aspirants, especially in Magarini. He was an ODM member, and the court, there was a court case that nullified that election. So it is in order, because like there's no need in which you can also subject this guy to 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 go through nomination. Yet he was the MP who won, but like there was those court cases that denied him a chance. So that is something that direct ticket is good for him. So there's also this issue that former Chief Justice raised. Especially, he called on the Director of Public Prosecution, Igonga, to drop the charges against the youths, terrorism charges against the youths. So that is also what former Chief Justice Maraga said today. Miguda.
Yeah, I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I haven't heard your question. I don't. Maybe there is instability of the network.
I was saying this. Former Chief Justice, former Chief Justice, has called on the Director of Public Prosecution, Igonga, to drop terms of charges against the youths. You know, the youths who are charged with terrorists. So he was asking the Igonga to drop those charges. What is your take on that? We cannot get you. You are very far. Can you just hello? All right, Miguda. Makubura. What can you say about the call by former Chief Justice?
I think it's a good move, because I can say that people really have to be taken good care of. And for example, you remember quite a number of youths were arrested, and not once but several times, especially when they're coming out to fight for their rights, when they're coming out to address their issues, when they're coming out to to express and to participate on something that is there in the constitution. Most of them have not really been listened to, because yes, what the government has always done is when they are looking or doing a crackdown, normally what they do is they pick a whole, I mean, whoever is found on the wrong outside, they normally take those people, even those people who have not committed anything wrong, and that is not a good thing. Quite a number of youths have landed into courts. Some of them have been arrested, and very serious allegations, directed towards their names, and that is something which is not good. I think that if we were, if the people who are responsible were careful enough and were human enough, they would not really enslave young people into such kind of arrest. In such kind of arrest, because the constitution gives the people the mandate to speak their mind, to walk or to petition. They have a right to demonstrate. And so to me, those people should be relieved. They should be let go, because there is nothing like terrorism. If they were found demonstrating, I don't think that amounts to terrorism. And terrorism is one serious charge that should not be joked with anyhowly. Because if you start, if you speak about terrorism, you're charged with terrorism. In other countries, you say that someone was charged with terrorism, and then those are very serious allegations that we should not label our youths who are trying to fight for their rights, who are trying to come out to demonstrate. It is not a good thing. That is my take, and I urge whoever or whichever platforms which can be used, so that these people or those people who are arrested should be relieved from wherever they are being caged.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much. So you share the same thought with the former Chief Justice, that is David Maraga. Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Makubura. I was just giving short stories that at least catch the eyes. And you know, today also I came across and I reached to her. Remember, there's one of the ladies in the comedian history, comedian is actually from Kenya, that is this Jojo. I saw a post that was saying that she might be running for women rep. No, not women rep really, but she will be running for member of parliament where Lilian Gogo is, and I reached out to her. Then she said she will talk to us about that. But it is good if young people are coming out to vie for those seats and vie for those seats for members of parliament, you know, and any, you know, so that they can bring a new wave of thinking and a new wave of leadership, because like these are people who understand actually what is happening on the ground, like somebody who has been in the comedy industry. I think she understands it well. So by her being there, she can really bring changes to that. And I spoke to her. Not I spoke, but I texted her and I said that if time comes for interview, you can always give us an opportunity so that we interrogate what new are you going to bring, and what are the gaps, especially what are the gaps that you've seen, and how are you going to fill them, knowing very well that is not very easy, especially when it comes to campaign. Sometimes you'll not be going with the party that has a base in that area. How are you going to navigate? So those are some of the questions that if one time she decides to run, we will invite her here, so she will be. But for that, if it is true what was written, then we congratulate her for that courage, especially to have even the vision of running for that particular office. So I wish Laban was here. This something that really happened yesterday, and the president hosted the Right Honorable Prime Minister, Simba Arati, and some members of County Assembly in State House from Omogusi community, and the politics has really played part on it, and each and every person is giving their views on that visit. And one of the questions that people were asking is, one, the presence of the Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Odinga the presence of the Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Odinga accompanying the Kisii people, especially the Kisii community in the state house. Yet he's not coming from Kisii community, because we've seen, especially when the Siaya leaders visited State House, the Right Honorable Prime Minister was not there. When other communities or those who have been invited, the Prime Minister has not been there. So people are asking, why was the Right Honorable Prime Minister was there? So that's a political question, and we can give our views. And one of the things that I think the presence of Right Honorable Prime Minister in that meeting of Kisii leaders that took place in the State House yesterday. One, it was to consolidate the Kisii region, because you know, with the entrance of Matiang'i, especially in the political field, it means that the Kisii votes are going to be scattered, or the Kisii votes will, like, larger percentage of it will go to Matiang'i. So one of the things that the Right Honorable Prime Minister was there was to make sure that they consolidate those votes from Kisii. Because if to say he has never attended any meeting, especially that are being called in State House, especially from other communities that President has always invited to State House. This is the first time that he was there. Even when the Siaya people were there, the Right Honorable Prime Minister was not there. I remember even when Migori, I think when Migori also was invited, he was not there. So by him being there accompanying the Kisii community, then it speaks more volume than just development invitation, And as they were attending that meeting, over 30 MCAs, especially from that community, missed the meeting. And some of them, I quote, he said that one of them will say that enough is enough. One of them said this, that there are some promises that president has made, including when they were invited to State Lodge. There are some promises that president made to them. Those projects or those promises has not been actualized. So that was the reason why they decided not to go. But if you look at it, because with them also they were saying that right now they're supporting Matiang'i. So there's that political undertone that was the visiting at the State House and those who are not visiting at the State House. Yeah. So when you look at it, Makobura, let me now come to you, and I want you to put in the picture of Matiang'i in this, knowing very well that when Matiang'i came from abroad, the first meeting that took place was in the Obogusi land community, and people really, the community really welcome Matiang'i, gave him a very good reception. And now we are seeing the Right Honorable Prime Minister accompanying the Kisii community, headed by Simba Arati, to the State House yesterday. What can you conclude about that visit, apart from what is dubbed as development?
I think that was a political.
Yeah.
I can say it was a political kind of meeting. It is what it is. It's one thing that we understand in Kenya is that there are two factions currently, active factions. That is the people who are claiming to be on the position, of course, led by Kalonzo, Rigathi, Amang, and the other team, Matiang'i included, and there's this team that are claiming to be on the government side. That is the UDA, of course, led by the government led by the president, William Samoei Ruto, together with Raila Odinga and his team. And one thing is, these two factions are all looking for what we call 2027. And they are all trying to strategize and to come up with ways in which they are going to manage. They are going to manage or to ensure that they win the election that is coming in 2027. So whichever language whichever unity that we see, they're all just trying to to come together as a way of solidarity, or as a way of protecting their territories.
Okay. So
and as they protect their territories, of course, we will always see anything that the government side is supporting, Raila being on that ground or being part of that that team that is supporting the government. We'll always see him. I think going forward, we'll even see Raila Odinga representing the president, or even opening government facilities or projects in charge. In representing the president. Those are not strange things. We saw such kind of things in the other government, and remember, this is one that is even more different with the one that we saw. This is the only time that Raila has gotten into his government, and his close allies have also been accepted into government. So I can say Raila currently acts as a co-president, and him acting as a co-president is a clear sign that anything that the president supports, or whichever direction that the calculation that they are going to use to ensure that they maintain their relevance and their support base, they will use it. That is why you saw Raila has been the kingpin of the so-called Nyanza region, Kisii included, the Kisii Nyamira counties included, And of course, Raila has got a massive support in that region. Matiang'i coming out to claim or to say that he is going to, but I think that is what I said. Brother Ben, what did I say? I think I did mention it the way Laban is saying it. I said Raila is in government and is like a co-president. Unless Laban, you want me to use specific words that you've used to type or to comment. That is what I've said. And I've said very well that very soon you will see Raila even officiating government projects. And it is not something strange.
Yep.
Because for the first time we are seeing him deeply into this government, of course, together with these close soldiers that were the so-called experts. So whatever ODM is going to protect, the UDA or the government will come out to help them protect. And that is why you've seen the strategic move that the UDA government, I mean the UDA party and ODM party are coming out to do I say it, zoning of certain constituencies so that they do not come up with conflicts. And we are seeing even the opposition are trying to emulate the same. So this is a political strategy that both the UDA and ODM are trying to use to ensure that they do not lose their territory.
Okay. Okay, thank you. And Miguda, maybe if you can explain to us about the clipping wings of maybe Matiang'i, because the influence that he might be having in the Kisii County. So the president and the Right Honorable Prime Minister has to come in, even as they invite the leaders who are coming from Kisii. They say that, okay, another thing that we have to do, we have to make sure that the influence that Matiang'i might be having in Kisii, we also have to find a way of clipping it so that he doesn't kind of like have that solid block behind him. Could that one also be a reason why the Right Honorable Prime Minister was in set out with Simba Arati with other leaders? Okay, I think we've lost Miguda. So Marco Buddha, as I don't know whether you also have this idea. To me, what I would think is this, because that is the question I was asking Miguda, was about the influence of Matiang'i. We know when Matiang'i came, the reception that he got from the community was so massive, and that one sent like a shockwave, especially to the politicians. So when you also look at how the president now is trying to consolidate, he knows very well that the larger chunk of the vote, especially that was coming from Mount Kenya, is kind of like slipping away. So he has to make sure that with the broad-based government, they can not afford, especially to lose some of the bases that they have. So the only way is to make sure that they influence the leadership that is currently working, so the leadership can also influence on people that they lead, to clip the influence of Matiang'i in that area. Could that also be a reason?
I think the community, that is the Kisii and Nyamira County, they did receive the former cabinet secretary with a lot of love, with a lot of concern. They received him as a leader, and of course, that was a good sign. But one thing again that I've learned about politics is that today you might be accepted you might get a good reception, but that doesn't mean that tomorrow you're going to get the same reception. What really matters is if you come out to give the people the reason why they should continue supporting you, they should continue following you. I think that is what really matters. Matiang'i might have gotten a good reception, and it seems that the people had what we call a good. I think the people had what we call a good Hebu mwende na hizo. Sorry, can you hear me? Yeah, so I'm saying that the most important thing is whether you can maintain the same, you can maintain the same pace. And I think that is what the people expected, the community of Matiang'i expected, and they never really received that. What happened is that Matiang'i seems to have slowed down. The people expected him to come out and continue with a consistent political narrative, but he somehow slowed down, and that of course slowed down the pace that the people expected. But again, depending, remember, politics is one funny thing. If you are able to unite everybody who is coming from, if you're able to get the good support of people coming from your community, then it is always easy to come out and to convince the people that you can be given a chance and you should be welcomed in the community. What happened is that if you remember those days, Matiang'i was welcomed with everybody, both those people who are in the government side and those people who are on the opposition side. But again, along the way, there has been political realignments. And of course, more of it was affected when Raila Amolo Odinga failed to secure the post of African chairmanship. And of course, that then affected the calculation, political calculation that was expected in the country. That is why you saw quite a number of ODM members, for example, who came out to welcome Matiang'i. They had in mind that if Raila went, then there was going to be a void. And that void, they could play smart to ensure that Matiang'i would then come out to take the support base of Raila Amolo Odinga. But unfortunately, Raila never didn't manage to go, and for that reason, the mathematics never worked. What then happened is Raila came back and is trying to convince his support base that he's still there. They should still support him. That is why you're even seeing the governor of Kisii, the governor of Nyamira. Remember those days they came out and said that they are going to support one of their own. But what happened? Today, you're seeing Simba Arati is walking besides Raila Amolo Odinga, a sign that they are still going to stick together, they are still going to work together, and that they are still not ready to lose the best that they have. But again, one thing that I've also noted is that securing an election is not an easy thing. And politics is a game. It is a game that is played in a smart way. It could be those people have seen that there's thin or there's minimal chances of them winning. That is why you've seen them regrouping again, coming back to where they think they have a chance. But again, it is a game of numbers, it is a game of tactics. Depending on how they are going to play it, whichever side can still become relevant. Of course, again, depending on the kind of agenda and the language that they are going to use to convince the people.
Okay, thank you so much. And Marco Bura, maybe, I think Miguda was supposed to be coming, and I want to attend something here. But now, when you're looking at the Matiang'i that came and the reception that he got, and now what we are seeing of Matiang'i, we are seeing that powerhouse that he has gone. He doesn't have that attraction that people are expecting, because now it's kind of like he's becoming just like ordinary politician. That attraction is gone. What could be the reason?
I can't really say that attraction is fading or so, but what I can say is that there's something called bearing. It could be has not really gotten the right bearing.
Yeah.
Already is on the mouths of the people of Kenya. Quite a number of people are talking about him positively. I think he has to come out as a politician and speak as a politician. He has to come out and convince the people if he wants to be relevant or to continue being relevant. One thing I also understand, it is not yet time for campaign. I don't know whether it's trying to be decent or what, but whichever, uh, as much as he's quiet or as much as he's been silent, I still believe that he has opportunities. He can convince the people, just like a little bit of advertisement here and there can remind the people. We've had instances where politicians come or leaders come when they are not even expected, and they've always used that opportunity, and they've moved throughout the country, and they've reminded the people that they are in the field. They have reminded the people about the positive things that they are thinking about them, and of course, we've seen them, quite some of them even winning those particular seats. So the more important thing is the strategy that is going to use to convince the people, and the kind of advertisement that again is going to use to convince the people. I
But
can't really admit or say that he is like not there on the
but
lips of the
now,
people.
but when you look at how Matiang'i was and right now, and you're talking about like maybe the campaigns are not. This is the right time that you can put in that effort, because if you want to wait until last minute, remember, you are dealing with two good politicians, in terms of the history. They've done remarkable in terms of politicians and how they maneuver their way in the political waters of Kenya. You have Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Odinga that controls quite chunk of um, political base. You have President William Ruto, who is incumbent, and this is somebody that you are prepared to go head on head or head on head with, and you are still not putting more effort on it. Do you feel like when they wait until that time, they will be able to crash the combo of Raila Amolo Odinga and President William Ruto?
President William Samoei Ruto, Raila Amolo Odinga are already in a conjoint campaign, and it's a campaign that is being carried out on a daily basis. All those examples that you did give, that they met the Kisii leaders or Kisii residents, all those are campaigns. Remember the conversation that was there? It was all about campaign. It was all about them being reminded of the positive things that the government has done. It was all about being reminded to support the government and to speak for the government. And I can say that the campaign is on, especially on the side of government. It is upon the opposition. It is upon the opposition to then come out and do what we call also come out and ensure that they continue with the campaigns. Because if they don't, as much as, of course, if it could be that they respect the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya, which dictates and gives a clarity on when campaigns are supposed to be held. But again, that should not be, if they are law abiding, they should, of course, go with that. But I wouldn't advise them that they sit down and relax at a time when their opponents are already doing their campaigns. Their opponents are meeting people, grassroots leaders, almost on a daily basis. Their opponents are, through the close allies, are doing consistent advertisement in the entire country. So of course they also have to come out and ensure that they advertise themselves, because if they don't, then the song that would be out there is the song of those people who are consistently uh, on the move. Yeah, so Miguda, maybe you can give us your take on what you think about the silent move by the opposition side. Why is it that they are not coming out to continue moving around the country, reminding the people of their ambitions for 2027? Because we are seeing the government side are consistently on the move. They are consistently doing what we call campaigns, calling the local leaders, calling the local communities. The other day they were with the Kisii community, and it's a sign of campaign. Why do you think they are not coming out? Remember, of course, just like Ben did ask, Matiang'i was the topic of the day, and it seems to be fading, that topic. What could be the issue? Niguda?
Marco Bura, can you hear me? Hello,
Yes.
can you hear from me?
Proceed, yeah.
Okay, I'm saying the move by the opposition, maybe the silent move, could be part of the strategy, because you understand right now the people have not realized the actual position of them, like the candidate or the.
Okay, thank you. Allow me to read some few comments here. Laban is saying that politics is not avocado business. As you can say that the demand is in China and supply is in Kenya, my friend. Watch this space. 2 term is unstoppable. Okay, that is your take, Mr. Laban. Thank you so much for your take. Which song? I don't think I have a song, and I don't know what you're talking about, Douglas, unless you clarify and give us an explanation of what you're speaking about. But one thing that I would like to continue talking about is the mentality that is being peddled or that is being sold outside here is that this country cannot change. To me, I believe it is a country that can change. I do not buy anything to do with Wamunyoro because those are as thieves as those people in government today. And I believe Kenya has 50 million. If you continue singing 2 term, you as an individual, you can come out and go out there and come up with strategies or agenda that can help the country. I don't think it is right that we continue singing 2 term and you are yourself, you are an adult, you have the brain, you can do what is right. You are telling us to continue with a government that is not making the lives of the people of Kenya easy. If you are out there, for example, you are telling us about Wamunyoro and so, then you're also not thinking positively for this country, because those are the people who have looted this country to the core. And these are the names that should not even be on the lips of the people when we are speaking about election. So I want to remind the people of Kenya and especially our viewers that let us mature up and speak something that is making sense. Let us not speak about supporting a government that has done nothing to the people of Kenya. Let us not speak about people like Wamunyoro and so those who have looted. They were part. There's no difference between Ruto and those guys that you keep on mentioning here in the comment section, because their behaviors. One, they were in government the other day. The only thing that made them disagree is the level of uh, corruption. And so, if anybody speaks about Wamunyoro, I ask myself if really we are making sense in this country, if really we are moving to the right direction. Why would you speak about people like Wamunyoro if you want change in this country? Because there's nothing positive that Wamunyoro would come with. There's nothing positive that William Samoei Ruto would bring forth, even if he's given 10 terms. So these things of 10 terms, you guys, you have maybe your children or your brothers and sisters. Think about their future. If you continue supporting people who are not having any good future or future plans for your, whoever is coming next, then I think we are not making any step. I totally disagree with people who support or say about two terms. I wonder where that 2 terms is going to take us. I disagree with people who support Siji wa Munyoro, Siji Rigathi, because I ask myself, what positive can Rigathi Gachagua and this team bring forth? There's nothing. If you come out and start giving solutions to the problems that we are facing as a country, then maybe you would be making steps. But if you keep telling us about 2 terms, about failed people who have failed the nation, have looted the nation, then I don't know where we are headed. And I also wonder why somebody who is an adult, who is of sound mind, would come and say that there is no any other option. Then the question I'll ask is, you as an adult, are you not an option? Let us think positively and give people hope. Hope in terms of the possible things which are the possibilities which are there. Let us not tell people that it can never happen and it will never happen. Let us be let us have a mind or a thinking that can transform this country. Let us not think that we have no solution. Kenya has 50 million plus, and those are brains which are active. Those are brains. Some of them have gone to school and studied. Some of them are leaders who have been given the gift by God. So let us not come out and continue singing about things which are neither here nor there. That is my take. Allow me to take this opportunity to wish you all a blessed night, a blessed morning, a blessed afternoon, a blessed evening from wherever you're watching us from. Thank you so much, and may God bless you. See you again tomorrow.